Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's a Monday, so we're back in the geography channel, and today I spun a wheel. And as you can see, that wheel landed on Chile, also known as Chile. I'm gonna call it Chile because my Spanish is amazing because I was born here in Brazil. Here actually. And I speak Portuguese, and as you know, Portuguese is really close to Spanish. So I speak Spanish well because it's like literally almost the same language. Now you know, I'm gonna call this country Chile, not Chile. So, if you are new to the Empire series, Chile will be getting stronger, invading other countries to get stronger, and all alliances are going to be disbanded. There aren't going to be many defensive alliances, especially here in South America, but could be, right? So they're going to be a little buffed up because they've got some really strong neighbors over here. So, and in order to get strong and stuff, they're going to need a little buff, right? So there we go. Here's Chile, their capital over here at Santiago, and it's been a long time problem for Chile because they've been invaded and Santiago just gets captured like this, then done. They got the capital, the country split into two, and that's why the placement of their capital has been a problem. So first thing they're gonna do is send an ultimatum over to Argentina demanding all territory west of this line. They ask all of this territory west to this line to Argentina, and Argentina goes ahead and says, no, this is ours. Chile's like, okay, we'll make it like this, okay? And Argentina's still like, no, I'm not giving you my territory. So Chile's like, okay, final offer. Argentina's still, no. War, baby. And here's all the territory that Chile is requesting from Argentina. It's technically not a request, it's an ultimatum. So Argentinian troops in the area immediately fall into the Argentinian hands because it's what they want to do. That's what happens over here in both places here. I'm sorry about this degradé that's happening. I don't know why it's happening, but it's happening. But at the same time, Chile expands their military over here. They flex their big muscles. They can grab all this territory here, and they managed to cut off this blue piece from the rest of Argentina. It later surrenders. Chile managed to get thicker. They almost cut off the entry from Argentinian supplies to this dark red area, except for this light blue area that Argentina is expanding their troops to, and they managed to cut these two parts off from each other, although they have the long path. And then Argentinian troops managed to push a bit deeper here and also try to enter this area over here, but they don't manage to do it. As remember the big muscles, here we are. Chile can separate these two different pushes. The smaller one immediately falls, and this larger one gets capitulated, and this one from the east also falls off and dies. And now Chile and Argentina have the option to both continue the war or leave the war, stop fighting. Now Argentina, they choose to stop fighting, but Chile's like, hell no, we're continuing fighting. And if Chile's continuing to fight, Argentina can't just stop. So Chile also managed to do some manipulating, creating a rebel group in Argentina, making them go through a civil war, and Chile is trying to take advantage of the civil war, but they can't manage to push further than this line because all members from the Civil War are anti-Chile. So it stays like this for a while. They're still at war. They managed to keep strong with Chile, except for this place over here in the south. I think this is called Punta Arenas. It's like the point where you go down around if you want to get to the other side of Mexico instead of going through the Panama Canal, right? Or just walk through Mexico. So this is really important for Chile because the Panama Canal has been going through a few problems over here, and sometimes it's quicker to go down here instead of just there because of so many boats passing by, and there restrictions Panama have put on because of droughts and stuff, right? So that's why this is very important for Chile, and it really helps them a lot. So some changes happen here in the border, and it narrows it down to this. But Chile is still really strong, and they go ahead and search for some allies. First ally they got, Brazil. Like, hey man, dude, let's invade Argentina together. I'll give you a lot of land. They're like, okay, let's do it. So here you go. And Uruguay, really big ally of Argentina. Plus, they got matching capitals. You're scared of joining Argentina because they don't think they could have a chance of winning. And they're scared of joining Brazil and Chile because maybe they would get sanctioned so much. So they just stay neutral until Brazil declares war on them. They're like, you're mine too. They also managed to get Paraguay. They also get Bolivia. By the way, I hate your government, Bolivia, to join in a separate side to help them get Argentinian land and weaken Argentina. Their civil war is finished. So that's a bit of a downgrade for the attacking teams. But still, I added the capitals for the blue team, Buenos Aires and Montevideo. And it's just there. Argentina and Uruguay are just stuck there. They can't do anything. Brazil make the smart move of Operation Monchi, also known as Operation Montevideo. Usually Montevideo and Buenos Aires are in the water, like touching the water, but just imagine they're touching the water because here they're not. Brazil start a spearhead through Uruguay, cutting them into two and capturing Montevideo. They then expand their spearhead, make it thicker so nothing can be saved. Argentina make the nice deed to go through here, a place that had little to no surveillance, as Brazilian troops were over here like getting new land, and over here monitoring Montevideo. So Argentina make a really good push here until Brazilian troops see them and they're like, oh hell no. Argentina gets weakened by this because a lot of troops were there, but troops stop over at this river so they can try to stop the communications between Uruguay and Argentina. They line up at the border so nothing can happen, and they set up a lot of border patrol here. They do the same here over in the water, so the beaches are really well monitored, and both sides of Uruguay try to get new government. They split off from each other. They make new capitals, for example, but it still does not work because Brazil literally surround them from all sides, and they are expanding, thickening their pushes until there's little to nothing left, and Uruguay surrenders. Brazil sets up a lot of border patrol over here in all these borders to make sure Argentina does not try anything fishy. Also, Chile from the south, they can make some strong pushes over here towards Argentina. Southern Argentina gets invaded by Chile, and Chile try to cut this part off from the rest of the country, but they fail as Argentina make the smart idea of doing this. Troops flee over here. They get a bit of payback and half of them die, but thankfully half of them are still here. I mean, thankfully if you are on the Chile side, which I'm usually on the attacker side when I'm making the Empire video because then it would be boring, right? So then Chile, with the little rest of troops they have, they just try to keep this border thicker and safe from Argentina, and they do not want any Argentinians over here, and they make small surroundings here. And the impressive push from Argentina for this thing, right? Like they just did bam and bam, but Argentina is still near the losing point. Something else that happens is Bolivia start a push over here in northern Argentina, and they capture some major cities around, and Argentina try the same strategy, although you may not know that Paraguay and Bolivia are pretty closely allied, and Argentinian troops, as they were trying to cut off Bolivian troops from Paraguayan support lines, they accidentally invaded Paraguay. What a blow to Argentina. They eventually managed to wipe out this push, but it's not gonna be good for them. Paraguay takes this as a declaration of war, and they immediately send their full military down to Argentina, and with the help of Bolivian troops, they managed to cut off this part of Argentina to this push they have, and they managed to push it out of their territory, and Argentina are like, oh, we failed. Argentina send their full military to try to recapture some lost areas, and they can manage to do it well. After this is done, they try to sue for peace, but nothing happens, as their military has been overused and everything goes back to like it was before. And Brazil decide to have some fun and capture the Argentinian panhandle through the river, and through Uruguay they make a landing in Buenos Aires, and eventually Buenos Aires gets captured. Argentina cripple. Brazil take advantage of this, and they go through Argentina's east coast and get to this. They try to not be too thin, so they get a strong push until here, and then they sue for peace. Paraguay also make a push towards Argentina's northeast, and they consolidate a really strong front over here. They also try to capture some major cities in the way, and they finish over here. And Chile also get their fair share of invading, cutting the purple team off from the blue team and from Argentina, and Argentina surrender. So in this peace treaty, this is what we see. So Bolivia got a lot of land over here from northern Argentina. Paraguay did as well. Brazil got all of Uruguay first off, and all this eastern part from Argentina proper, and Chile erased 95% of their border except for this bit, and this and this. They are both puppet states. One from Chile and one from Brazil, and Chile has full control over this one, except it's an independent nation, but it's not really independent as it depends on Chile. And this one is dependent on Brazil too. So two little puppet states that are independent, and Brazil stays a close ally of Chile, and what Brazil says is done, their puppet state as well. Then Chile asks their pal Brazil to help them fight a war against Peru, their close ally. Brazil and Peru make a collective push to capitulate Peru. Chile focusing through the coast as they usually do, except for today, right? And they can manage to surround the Peruvian capital of Lima. We're checking back on this later. Brazil expands their front line over here and isolate Peru from Ecuador. Peru does not stand a chance against these two powerhouses. I'd say Chile is the second strongest country of South America. I mean, now for sure, Lima's lost. Chile can focus around the coast, Brazil too, and they connect. They cut Peru off together, and Bolivia, as the hungry boy they are, they make a push over here into Peru, and Peru try to push them back with the rest of power they have, which makes this part more vulnerable, and this northern parts with no connections to anything do the plan that they had with the southern part of pushing, and Brazil and Chile push south, and this country does not know to push up and connect, so the northern part can push into the part they were told to push by the southern part. The southern part counters Bolivia, which makes the northern part of the southern part more vulnerable, and the northern part doesn't know what to do anymore. The southern part can defend themselves pretty well, but it's not really easy to do this. And accidentally, Bolivia trying to invade Peru step on some Brazilian soil, making them go to war with Brazil and Chile. Chile kind of made it on purpose so they could gain land over here from the south that they wanted to get from Argentina. Also, Paraguay says because we don't care if we lose. We're here to support our friend. Bad idea, they lose. Chile always wanted all of Argentina for themselves. Brazil makes a push from the east over here. And let's go take a look at Peru. This is highly unlikely, but remember, it's a fictional scenario. Bolivia, Chile, Brazil, and Peru met for peace, discussing the fate of Peru, and they managed to make it this. And they say that this area over here that once stood proudly as the country of Peru needs peace for a minimum of 1 year. So after Paraguay's capital gets captured, Paraguay surrenders, and the red team wants to be in the UN. So they're gonna try their best to not invade further than this line here, and they get to the line and they don't invade further. They can surround Bolivia from all those sides and capture La Paz or Sucre. Patiently wait for 1 year. After the year has gone by, Brazil and Chile make their separate pushes to capitulate all of Bolivia. And once again in this peace treaty, Chile and Brazil completely gulp these countries down. And Brazil's really happy of having access to the Pacific Ocean. Oh my gosh, they're like the USA of South America. Did you know that if Brazil annexed all of South America, they'd be greater than the United States? They'd be greater than Russia. This is bigger than this. Did you know that? Isn't that weird? It's the MacArthur projection. So with this empire, we kind of made Brazil an empire, but in the Brazil empire video, you already know the result. Probably gonna look like this. I don't know, spoiler alert, maybe. But after a few years, after a lot of assimilation, Chile managed to annex their puppet state, and of course Brazil too, obviously, right? So let's take a look at Chile's flag. Okay guys, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed it recording it. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.